What is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com. And today we're going to talk all about AI-generated content and what you really, really need to know to make sure your ad creatives, your organic social media posts, everything is working on point. We're going to dive into how AI-generated content is changing the game, from TikTok first strategies in AI to AI agents in UGC creation, and why many AI creatives fail to convert. We've actually seen one of our best AI creatives be an AI-generated one. So we're going to bring an expert. I'm going to tell you all about him. But without further ado, let's hit that intro video. Hamza, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me. It's been a while. We're trying to coordinate this.
I know we wanted to do it in person, but let me give you the rundown why I'm so excited to have this guest on. Hamza started his journey at just 16 when he built the largest math page on Instagram, driving over 100 million. That's 100 million organic impressions, over $1 million in book sales. I actually met him when he ran growth for Faves, really popular app right now. And he's got some really great intelligence, getting Faves to 1 million ARR in just a few months. And we're going to dive into his new platform called NewForm, which is a top tier NYC-based app marketing agency producing over 2,000 ads per month. And he's going to break down his entire framework for that. So Hamza, there you go. Proper intro. Welcome, my friend. Anything I missed, you want to make sure, brag to us for a little bit.
I think you did well. Thanks for the introduction.
Thanks, bro. Well, I'm excited to do this. Let's break it down. I know you prepared this presentation, and boy, do I love presentations. So I want to say hi to a few people first, but 303, we worked hard. Steve's thumbnails game is well done. I wonder if he practices those facial expressions. Nope, we had a company retreat, and we did some photo shoots there. I had a great person to model off of, and she just gave me those expressions. But thank you for saying that. And Zahara is here as well. The first one, Nurex. Good to see you, Kev. Good to see you as well. All right, and I will say hi to a few more as we go along the way. But let's get into this content, Hamza. All right, here we go. Walk me through this. NewForm.
Controversial take, but
yeah, I love it.
AIGC is usually losing you money. And I think not a lot of people are saying this because, we'll get into it. But I think at first notice, maybe people wouldn't expect that.
I love it. Why? Well, I guess you'll answer it.
I'll answer. We can go into it. And I'll be presenting this at MAU as well. So nice. For folks at MAU, I'll be presenting that Thursday. But here's the one, important caveat. Organic versus paid, right? So organic, it basically has no opportunity costs because the next video is always free. And how good a video does is directly correlated to how many views it gets. So if it's basically free to produce and post, then of course AI-generated content will be a gold mine here. So if you're thinking about organic content and whether AIGC is going to work there, it's very hard to argue that it won't. There's a question of brand and all that stuff. But frankly, if you're an up-and-coming app, you probably don't care about that, and you should. So on the organic front, post 1,000 videos a day if you can. Paid is different because paid usually have something that already works, right? So like you have this one ad that's already what, maybe you call a creative winner, a top ad. And the goal of paid, like more videos on your paid ads doesn't mean your paid ads work better. If anything, one ad that just is magical and just has a 5x ROAS is all you need. Obviously, to get to that ad, you need to test a whole bunch of ads. So that's why you need the idea of volume is not because you want volume for the sake of it, but it's because you want to find that top ad. Right. And because the results are unknown, you need to actually spend money to find out if an ad works or not. And if you just feed the system trash, you're never going to find that top ad. So the purpose of this presentation is basically to get people to understand it's not just about the cost of production. You always have to think about the cost of testing, because if you spend half of your budget testing you know, like testing will inevitably have a lower ROI than your top creative, then you're wasting a lot of ad dollars.
I like that. I like that. Say that one more time. You're forgetting about what you said, Hamza, and Sanchi, we should clip that up. Like really just the cost of testing, because a lot of people just focus on this, like just the ad creation. And Hamza, I'm seeing so many of these on LinkedIn where it's like, I slept and I, created 200 AI videos all the time. But I'm like, that's cool. But, you're not thinking about the cost of actually testing these creatives too. So what were you to suggest? What's the best way to test?
So there's not a single best way to test, but you have to think about what you're feeding into the system, right? And you got to think about your hit rate. So we'll get into this metric. Your core metric is your cost per creative winner. That's the core metric. So how much money do you have to spend in both testing and production to get a creative winner? And obviously not all winners are created equal, but generally you can, define, hey, like if an ad hits this ROAS threshold, I consider it a winner.
Yep.
And as long as you're keeping that in mind, a lot of our partners will compute that every month, right? Like we'll compute that for them, see how efficient we're getting, right? And the idea is always to try to make the most out of the least budget, because we've seen it again and again where maybe your top ad is profitable, but you spend so much money on testing that your marketing as a whole is unprofitable.
Right.
That happens way more than you think.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for saying that. Someone who's probably spent a lot of money on ads too. Yourself.
Yeah. I mean, we spend a good bit and we spend a lot on testing. And frankly, I wish, like if we can make one ad a month for all our clients and just make that a winning ad, I would. My margins would go bonkers, right? Like if we just need to make one ad, but it doesn't work that way, right? The reality is you do need to, make volume. But the post you mentioned was like, oh, I made 200 ads overnight with AI. How many of those are ever going to be winners? Obviously a low amount, but is it 1 or 10? And that really matters. So with 200 UGC ads, you can, I mean, we've crunched the numbers. It's usually 1 in 30 ads will be a winner. On AIGC, it's closer to 1 in 200. So yeah, and that's the reality. It's like, and that's how normal distributions work. So we can get back into the presentation and kind of show you like
let's get it.
So I'm currently a math major at Stanford. So I'm an undergrad. So I geek out on this stuff. And I think, we'll go to the next slide. If you look at creative ROI, you'll get a bell curve, right? You get a normal distribution. Yep. Most creatives like probably slightly lose you money, right? Like, with a 15 or 30%, let's say you have a 1x ROAS, you're losing money on that first year, right? If, you're only getting a 1x ROAS. And the best of the best creatives, ones that are hitting twice, 2x ROI are very hard to come by. And if your team, even if your team knows your app really well, knows how to market really well, eventually you're going to see this normal distribution, because it's really hard to predict paid ad performance. Sometimes the worst looking ads do really well. Sometimes ads that you spend days on flop. And this isn't you can definitely tell a terrible ad from a good ad, but you can't tell a good ad from a great ad. Yeah. And that's what's hard.
Hamza, we had this discussion internally. Do you find that if a video does well organically, does it typically do well as a paid video too?
I think that this is the biggest misconception that everyone funnels around. It depends on the app. Like I'll tell you that, think about it. Like let's say you're pitching a fintech app. Well, like nothing pitching the value of this fintech app is going to go viral on its own. So it's likely maybe the video that went viral was like a street interview or a funny, clip. Rarely do you get to actually sell your app in that, in that viral video. If you're running like a social app or like, I don't know, like a wallpaper like generator, like a, hey, make your AI phone screen thing. And it's like really cool and trendy. Yeah. Probably. But I would actually argue that for most utility apps, and we've tried this. Here's the thing, like we've tried to post our paid ads organically and they flopped, and vice versa. We try to take the organic and boost it and it wouldn't do as well. I would say the younger the audience for your app is and the more broad it is, the more that holds true. Because if it's extremely broad app that just hits everyone, you have a young audience, then the organic content might convert well. But I wouldn't say vice versa, like holds true.
I like it. That's a great answer. I like it. Okay. You want me to move on to the best creatives?
Yeah, I mean, like we analyze $100 million worth of ad spend. And we came to that 1 in 30, 1 in 40 number. And that's basically 2 standard deviations away. And like we highlighted, you know, where that's gonna really fall. And that's why people make so much content. Like the people that are preaching, oh, you got to test like 10 ads, 20 ads a week. That's where they're coming from. It's because if you want to, you know, make a couple winners, you got to make dozens of ads. And the problem with any type of analysis like this is like when the thing, like the whole reason people say, oh, like you got to make a lot of ads to win, there's an assumption there is that those ads are good. Like that's because if I just like make 100 terrible ads and expect one of them will hit, like kind of Hail Mary it, this normal distribution will not work. Like it'll just like, and this is where AIGC comes in. It's shifted to the left. So like the average is actually losing you a good bit of money. So yeah, it's going to be shifted to the left, and you can go to the next slide.
Yeah.
You'll see it. So
I see. It might be harder to tell if you're watching the video, but this chart is AIGC, which is all AI generated content. And then this other line that's a little bit better is the UGC content.
Yeah. So this is only a 20%, like what we observe is actually only a 20% difference roughly on AIGC versus UGC. And a big, like the reality is it's probably a lot worse than 20%, but our partners, the ones that are, you know, leveraging AIGC, only obviously pick the best ones, right? Right. But even then, it's on average 20% worse. Now, in your head, you're like, okay, like that means we just need to like test 20% more.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yep.
But that's not how normal distributions work, right? They're very sensitive on the outskirts. So if you go to the next slide, this is where we kind of analyze even if it's 20% worse, you go from needing 1 in 40 ads to make a winner to 1 in 215. And I won't bore you with the math, but essentially it's that much rarer to find a winner with AIGC. And we've had, I mean, listen, like we've had a lot of partners try to test AIGC. And it's obviously cheaper than making UGC. Like, I mean, you can make hundreds of AIGC ads for the cost of a few UGC ads. But if you think about the cost of testing, you flip the script. So I think if you go to the next slide.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay. Actually, no, go back. So, I mean, yeah, like you'll have it here. Yeah, maybe like zoom into just the bullet points, but like,
okay.
Essentially, I mean, let's say you need to, I mean, every creative needs to be tested to know if it's a winner or not. If you spend, let's say $100 per creative to validate if it's working, then for 200 ads, you need to spend $20,000 in testing budget versus 30 UGC, you need to spend 3,000.
Yep.
So that's the difference, right? Like even if the AIGC costs $0, right, to make, which like of course, like yeah, it's the second bullet point.
Yeah.
Even if it costs very little to make, you spend so much money on testing that all your cost savings are gone.
Yeah.
Right. And you're a lot more efficient feeding good things into the system. So this is like, there's been this, I think, mantra of just like, let's operationalize the hell out of everything. Like we need to make 1,000 ads. And like, I don't want to name names, right? But I've listened to presentations where like, okay, I have a $100,000 budget and I test 1,000 ads a month. I'm like, so all your ads are in tested. Like, where are you getting the budget to test 1,000 ads?
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I'm glad you have the numbers too, because I always felt that way when I saw those posts. I'm like, but yeah, like how many are actually working? Right. And I would just be like, and it would just bug me because these posts would just be fed to me because they had so many comment with blah, blah, blah. If you want my, my AI script. And I'm like, it's like, stop showing me these, LinkedIn. Like I swear none of these work. And then you're like, maybe there's confirmation bias because you're confirming what I felt. But anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, here's the reality. We work with advertisers, big and small. Like we work with some of the biggest app advertisers, and I will just tell you, they don't do that. Like, and it's not because, oh, they're slow organization, but like people listen, like everyone wants to try this thing and make it work. Because of course, like, I mean, you can save a lot of money. It's easier. You know how, dude, you know how annoying creators are to deal with? Like,
Yes.
it's they're always late, they don't follow the script sometimes, they don't follow the brief. Like, there's so many reasons why an AI would be better at this. But you have to stay grounded. And if your actual goal, if you want to be honest with yourself, your actual goal is to improve your marketing efficiency, you have to look at the full picture.
Yeah, I like it. Hamza, you want to get some questions? Or you want to go into the next slide? Yeah, tell me.
I think before we end this, I think AIGC can work for one type of app.
Okay.
And we've seen it. And so if you go to the next slide.
You want to hit on anything on here, or?
I mean, yeah, like the reality is, even if you do the math differently, even if AIGC being 10% worse, you still see this because it essentially needs to be like 5% worse for this to work. And I don't think it's there yet. So if you go to this script flips, if your app has a low CPI, like if your average cost per install is like $1 or 50 cents, then you don't need $100 to test. That's like probably overkill. If you get like 200 installs for every test, creative, you may only need $30, maybe even less. And that flips this math entirely. And we've seen like folks like Social, like they're an app studio, I think in France, that really leverages AIGC. And I think that's all they do now. They're not a client, but we've seen them and they do well, right? They do well with their ads. And it's because, frankly, they can just test a whole lot of AIGC and get signal.
I see. And here's the other bullet points that you wanted.
Also, like, I would say this is more geared towards higher scale advertisers. If you're just starting out, just do AIGC. Because the reality is, like, $1,000 out of 5,000 is 20%. Like, let's say you spend $1,000 on UGC, right? You get a dozen ads for $1,000. That's still, if you're only starting out with a few grand, that's a huge chunk of your budget.
Right.
You got to think about but if you spend $1 million a month or $100 grand a month or something, like if it's at high scale, then I think AIGC won't work for you. But I think for anyone starting out, or if you have a low CPI, it makes so much more sense than like trying to go the UGC route, especially because you're probably just starting to learn about what makes a good ad. So even your UGC will be less than perfect.
Completely agree with that too. Yeah. You guys want to check out NewForm. Tell us a little bit about NewForm, Hamza.
So this is the AI. So this is where we get into the AI piece of NewForm. I actually think AI in marketing is going to be a game changer. I think what's going to be, though, is agents. So we have our own agent internally that we use to make script writing, like concepting, like creative analysis 10 times faster. And it lives natively on Slack. and it syncs directly to the ad accounts for our clients. And we train on that $100 million of ad data. So it understands performance marketing. And because it syncs directly with the ad, networks, it sees what's working well. It sees what types of hooks, creators, bodies, actually can watch your ads.
That's
so
crazy.
Identifies creative elements that work, right? So you'll see in this animation, right? Like, hey, there's a text overlay, there's an iMessage bubble here, there's a young golfer, and helps our creative team essentially. I mean, the reason we can make 2,000 ads without ripping our hair out, and these are 2,000 human ads, is because we have an agent under us concepting, script writing, and analyzing our creatives to make them better every day. It syncs directly with like ad spy APIs, so we can ask like, hey, look at this competitor for one of our clients, and based off of our own insights from our ad account, script 10 new concepts based on this, like their top ads.
So not only will you watch it, Hamza, you're actually going to create the ads for us because you already know that, hey, I need a young golfer, I need a little iMessage caption. Your agent's going to help us create too. Analyze and create.
It generates the concept, the script. We don't believe in it generating the actual video asset.
Got it.
We then take that to our human team, and they make sure it's polished up and it's really high performance. But and this is where I think maybe the chasm is. There's a lot of people right now building an AI tools for marketing that want to replace marketers, go A to Z entirely. I don't think that ever works. If you think about let's think about an industry that already had a lot of AI tools built, which is like dev tools, developer tools, like Cursor. Cursor is not meant to replace programmers. I mean, there's like a few years ago, everyone's like, oh, ChatGPT is going to replace programmers. If anything, they get paid way more now than they do before. Like the best programmers make a ton of money. And it's because they have AI tools at their disposal. Same thing is going to happen with marketing. Of course, AI is going to replace the worst marketers, but they already suck to begin with. The ones that use AI agents in their workflows will become that much better, will become 10x better, right?
No, I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
If you go to NewForm.com, that's our AI agent site. Then you have NewForm.com, which is where we talk a little bit more about kind of our services. But honestly, for us, they look very similar. We're probably combining these two websites. But the idea is, I think like you can't build a well-functioning agency today unless you're incorporating AI workflows. And this is just, I think, goes for any marketing team, either agency or brand. Without integrating AI into your workflows, you're just going to fall behind.
Yeah, I like it. So you have the bot that will help you analyze, and then the agency that will help you create.
Correct. And we use, I mean, really, we developed the bot, our agent for ourselves first, and then we posted on LinkedIn, one of those, posts that you may have come across. And it went viral. Like we got
no, it works, man. I'm not hating on it. Trust.
Yeah. And we're like, okay, a lot of people want this, so maybe we spin it out externally. But
love it.
Yeah, like limited kind of selling of it externally, more focused on using it, in our day-to-day at the agency.
I mean, you said it best, man. AI is going to help great marketers become like good marketer, or good to great marketers become even better. Like we're going to still need that decision making in here. And I love how you broke it all down in terms of like the true cost of having AI created content. So I love this. Hey, we're getting questions about what makes a great ad. One question that I had for you, Hamza, was like, besides that, like you said, low CPI apps. Have you seen certain category of apps be low CPI apps here?
I mean, think about it. It's going to be things that are targeting either like cheaper audiences from a CPM perspective. If you're targeting a 65-year-old millionaire, like a lot of other people are targeting that demographic. And that means because the bidding pressure is high, it's going to be a high CPI. So like investing apps have a high CPI, right? Like insurance, stuff like that is naturally going to have a higher CPI. Things that have a low CPI naturally are going to be apps that are targeting usually younger people or people that have less money, right? Is essentially it. So think about entertainment apps, right? Very basic utilities. Like, so think about things like, I don't know, spam callers. Usually like the spam call apps have low CPI. You have the wallpaper apps, the walking counter apps, right? Like there's a lot of those that naturally have a lower CPI. Anything that has to do with like rewarded gaming or like all of that also tends to have a lower CPI because you're just telling people, hey, I'm going to pay you, like I'm going to give you money to play a game. So but that doesn't mean you should build those apps necessarily, because they also come with lower LTVs. Yeah. So the way that you should think about the category, honestly, that you build in is what's an app that makes a lot of money that is dormant. And what I mean by dormant is like hasn't really innovated. So, I mean, the classic case is like MyFitnessPal and Cal AI. MyFitnessPal hasn't really introduced new functionality in years, right? And hasn't incorporated, AI into its app much. And Cal AI came and is eating their lunch, right? So that's what I would encourage people to look at. Instead of industry specifically, look at what's lagging in progress.
I love it. Love it. Well said, my friend. Yeah, you got a fan. Throw in your hearts. Russ says, hi, Hamza. How would you define a good ad?
We have 3 principles at NewForm, right? And we go through, like, we have a monthly all hands every month where we go through our top ads, just because I want the team to understand viscerally what a good ad looks like. And it's, if we can define it explicitly, it wouldn't be, marketing agencies probably wouldn't exist because like it'd just be easy, right? But the idea is you want 3 things. You want ads that flow well. Like they have 3 principles. Ads that flow well, are authentic, and specific. And I'll explain what I mean by each.
Please.
Ads that flow well means you have alignment between the hook and the actual body, right? You have a smooth transition. You're not going for a random hook. A lot of people try to do this, try to capture attention with something and then go into selling something completely different. It may work now and then. It's a recipe for failure. You want to add the flows, right? And it can work. It used to work, I think, a couple years ago, but not like people can smell the bullshit now. Yeah. I think the second thing is authenticity. Obviously, that means different things for different people. But essentially what you need to think about is, do I blend into this person's For You page? So if I'm making an ad for, a millennial mom, like, do I do the super high edited, Andrew Tate level edits? Like, probably not. Like, that's not authentic to who you're selling to, right? You got to think about, almost put yourself in their For You page. And that's what matters. You need to be authentic to your user persona. And then third is specificity. Ads that try to solve something for everyone don't work. And this is just a general principle in sales. If you want to sell something to everyone, you sell something to no one, right? So don't try to be this general everything app. Find what you solve as a pain point and target that precisely and specifically. And it could be as simple as, if you're insert user persona, then I have something for you, right? That hook works so much better than people expect, but it's obvious. It's like, you just weed out everyone that's not your target audience.
Yes.
Because they don't matter. Stop trying to sell to people who are not your target audience.
It's so funny, Hamza, because we have one of our best performing ads is an AIGC. It's blended, but it's not like everything is AIGC. It flows well. It's authentic because it's it looks like our target market, right? And then it's specific, and it just says, hey, target market, here's an app that I've tried multiple. It's such a simple script that I think it can, and I'm glad you said it, because I was like, I think the script can work for any app. Just plug it in and just follow these 3 principles, and it should work pretty well. But yeah, I'm glad you said it too.
Yeah. I mean, what we think about is identify, like we call it identifying hooks. It's like basically the revolution with like short form content is an ad platform doesn't need a user to click on an ad to know that they're interested. They just need to watch the video. So you have this constant barrage of data. How do you actually feed the algorithm the best data? And it's by making your hook very specific. You actually don't want to feed it like people that are not your target audience. And the best way to do that, like it could be as simple as like, if you're not X, scroll away, right? Like you could be direct. Like, and a lot of people do this. Like if you don't make 100K a year, this ad isn't for you.
Right.
Something like that.
Yes. I like it. And that's what NewForm AI, right? Will help us analyze, come up with the right script. You just feed it in.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get into some. Russ has some more questions here. All right. Well, let's go with this. Unchecked Fitness. You're saying to test AIGC and putting money behind it. Can you just post the AIGC organically? What does that look like?
I think that can work, and you've seen it work. Like for any app founders or app marketers, I'd encourage you to look at like the e-com and affiliate space, because that's always going to be a step ahead in terms of marketing. And sometimes they do really shady stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, right? But like, I mean, dude, like paid ads becoming a popular thing for apps. Like they have been for e-com for like the last 10 years. So like they're always ahead of the curve when it comes to marketing and new technology. So if you look at what the top, and like affiliates, it basically goes like in terms of most marketing sophistication and like pushing the envelope to least, it's like affiliates, e-commerce, apps, B2B. Like B2B is still stuck doing like, SEO shit. And like, they just figured out that's a thing. So if you look at the affiliate folks and like those that are selling supplements or like weight loss offers or whatever it is, they'll have a ton of these AIGC accounts. They'll have a persona. So let's say it's like they're trying to sell you some supplement. They'll fake a doctor persona and they'll be like 20 years of like fixing gut issues. And this is the one thing I swear by. It's a very like strong authority hook. People don't even realize AI generated because like they're like, oh, it looks like a real doctor, right? And then they go into like, the sell. But yeah, I mean, organically, like I think go for it. Like you should post as much AIGC as you can. There's a reality that it doesn't ever get picked up, but it basically costs very little to nothing. And if you can crack a formula that works for AI generated content, like I'd put a lot of resources into it. So the idea is find a formula that works. So all these pages follow the same exact formula and just repeat it.
I like it. I would agree with you. Whenever there's a client and they're like, I come from the affiliate marketing space, Hamza, my eyes like go open. I'm like, okay, we can talk. Like, let's talk shop then. And yeah, I agree with you. I think even digital course creators, look at what they're doing too. Cause they're relying on ads. They have a social media platform and they probably have a following, but they're relying on ads too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Got 5 AIGC creatives. Better to test them across Meta, TikTok, and Google all at once, or focus on one platform first and scale from there. I have an opinion. I want to hear yours.
I think we always try to unlock one platform at a time. I mean, listen, if you have a lot of budget, right, and you can just throw at it, I mean, why not, right? But if we're thinking about an 80-20 marketing strategy, which is what I'd recommend, honestly, even for bigger players, like, you should try to restrain your efforts and focus them on a single channel first. Try to crack that, maybe 2 channels max. Crack those before you start thinking about other ones. And the reality is, like, if 5, let's say like they're close, but they're not quite there, like you test them on Meta, they do okay. Maybe it's worth a test on TikTok. But if they are so far off, they probably aren't going to work on TikTok either. And you just save yourself a lot of money.
I like it. I agree. I'm not going to add anything else. You said it better. All right. Let me see how we're on time because we got a lot of good questions there too. Okay. Let's go to Danny's question, then we'll get into the app audit. Danny says, I have a tough time visualizing what a UGC ad looks like for a more niche app, like the earlier fintech example or non-game entertainment like Better. What would UGC ads look like for these?
Makes sense. I mean, if you like on the fintech example, I'd say the best to look at would be Acorns, right? Like they do great with their marketing. We made them a bunch of ads, probably 100 plus. And for them, it's all about the visual hook, right? And like one thing that Acorns does really well is visual hooks. So instead of like a user speaking to the camera, the hook might be having a jar of change and just like throwing it into the trash. Now that's visually engaging, satisfactory, and it portrays, it ties into the concept. Acorns is all about, you know, turning your spare change and investing that and growing it. So think about how can you communicate your, you know, your app's product in a visual way. So like another thing that we did is like burn a piece of paper, right? Like maybe like this is a credit building app, right? You have like, I don't know, a low credit score written on a piece of paper and you burn it. Oh yeah, you could probably look them up.
Well, I was trying to. This is the TikTok ads library, but I don't know if you can hear the audio, but it says this is how you turn this. Is
that for
it's e-commerce.
E-commerce.
Yeah.
You can probably look at like finance ads as well.
I put savings here. I put Acorns.
Look up finance.
Just put finance.
Yeah.
You have to log in. It'll be better.
Do you have PP ads? I have. It's a way better ad spy tool.
PP ads? No, I don't.
It's probably, it has a subscription. It's gated. I don't know if I can share my screen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you want to, it's up to you. I mean,
yeah, I'll show you because I think this is like important for folks to kind of see what it looks like.
I like it. Live workshop, baby.
Yeah. Hold up. I'll present. Wait, is it share screen? Okay.
Zahara is, you know, really trying to get into your DMs, Hamza. Okay, so I'm gonna just make sure that you know I did my part. I'm a good wingman. Okay.
All right. So if you look up the Acorns ads.
All right. Here, let me.
So this is what I mean. Like I think so. These are some of their old ones. This are like you can see. This is from like 2022, 2021. This one's a little more recent.
This is the Acorns app. It automatically invests your spare change from your everyday purchases.
A lot of B-roll.
Each purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar.
And it's a voiceover behind it, right? Explaining what the app does.
Every time I buy something,
I can hear the audio.
It'll also be saving.
Yeah. I don't think it'll show the audio.
No, it does. I heard it. I heard it.
You heard it?
Yeah, I heard that. I hear the audio.
To you based on your risk tolerance.
So there's a lot of these. One, like, this is what
Instead of leaving your spare change in your car, junk drawer, or even throwing it away, you could save and invest it for your future. With the Acorns app, every time you make a purchase, Acorns will round that purchase up to the new.
So this is what it's going to look like. And I mean, they run, like, I mean, you can see by the impressions, they run quite a bit on these. And, you know, for something like a Better, you can probably also kind of look at what their ads look like by, you know, you can probably look it up on ad library or something. I don't know why it's not loading, but it's going to be a similar idea here where like either you have something like this that's super short. Yeah. Then like, and then you have sports at end card, right?
I've seen those. Yeah,
They also have obviously a lot of Jake Paul ads, but try to kind of push the envelope here on what it looks like, what UGC looks like. I mean, you can have street interviews, you can have fake podcast ads, you can have skits, right? Like we work with Blue Chew, and like Blue Chew is not an app, but you know, a lot of their ads are like skits and they run a whole lot of these. So it's UGC. I think a lot of people just think about it as like, oh, just like film, like phone, film on your phone and just like show your face and just see app for 30 seconds. But it's so much more than that, right? Like maybe I do hate I really want to introduce this idea of performance content. right? Like, and that's what we really do. Like UGC, because a lot of people conflate UGC with just a person talking to a camera for 30 seconds. And it's very boring. And that used to work a couple years ago. What we do is a lot more, closer. It's a production, right? It's performance content. We're making sure that every variable is optimized to maximize conversion and attention.
Nice. How big is the team to do that?
I mean, full time, probably like 25 at this point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then obviously we have like 100 plus, 160 creators that like are external that we work with on a normal basis.
That's insane. And still got school to worry about. But
yeah, I'm skipping class today. If my professor is watching this, sorry.
Don't tell me you ain't got time.
Yeah.
I hate that excuse. I ain't got time. All right, Hamza, we got a lot more questions. How are you on time? Can we go a little bit over? Because if we can't, then I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions, and I'll take care of the app audits. But if we can, then
let me check. I think I blocked out the hour.
Okay, and why don't I do this? I won't take up more than an hour of your time. So I'm gonna do the questions because there's a lot of questions, and then I'll do the app audits on my own after you're gone. Sure. All right, Danny says I have a tough time. Oh no, I already did that one. The Phantom says, for a developer about to launch a new app, what are the most critical first 100-day marketing strategies you should focus on, especially with the limited budget? Yeah, I love your take on that one.
I would say before you do anything, look at what people in your space are doing and where they're deploying most of their money. And that's usually going to be a good starting point for what channels you should focus on. Right? Whether it's like, hey, they're running ads on DSPs, or they're running on Facebook or TikTok, or they're doing organic marketing, or they're doing affiliate, whatever it is, first study your competitors and their strategies really deeply, because you don't have too many shots on target, right? Like you have a limited budget. I'm guessing you have 100 days is relatively limited time, right? You can't test everything and anything. So you got to be focused. Now, if you're focused specifically on paid ads, your idea should be to find honestly, it would be even better if you made the ads. It costs zero. And I used to do this at Faves. Like I remember, Steve, when we met, we were talking about this.
Yeah.
I made 1,000 ads for Faves, and we saved a lot of money that way, right? Like I would just make all the ads. The reality is, I mean, you don't have to like be the best creator or the most attractive person in the world. Like if anything, this is kind of fucked up, but we've noticed the people that are like not attractive can do quite well in ads, right? Like it's especially in certain niches because they're just relatable, right? And people are tired of like, these models pitching to like very attractive influencers. That era is over, right? And if you look at the Acorns ads, the Acorns has a partnership with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's a big celebrity. That's a big name. He's made some ads for them. I'll tell you, they're not their top ads. At least according to the ad spies, right? Like you can look at it. Same thing with Better and Jake Paul. Like the top ad that you saw there wasn't Jake Paul. So it's not like you don't need to be an influencer or well-known to make ads. You can just start with a phone and a simple focused message. And that's what I would recommend, is like, instead of trying to figure out the whole UGC route and pay, $1,000 to an influencer just to make a few ads that like may or may not work, do it yourself.
I like it.
And once you learn how to do it yourself, then you can go operationalize it, pay someone else to do it.
I like it. What's the best tool to study your competitors? What's your tech stack for that?
There's a lot, right? Like on TikTok, we really like PP. So the PIPI not sponsored. I've been using it. We have 2 subscriptions, like just so, because the team is using it for 7. And we sync to some APIs that are, I think like there's one that's adspy.com for Meta. I actually think it's not that great. It compared to it costs $100 compared to the ad library, like the Facebook ad library, which is free. It's not that better. If anything, on some things it's worse. So in terms of ad spying tools, that's that. There's also, there's a million of these tools. There's Foreplay. That one's popular. I would suggest also just being on Twitter. Like that's probably just being on Twitter, trying to get a sense of like what people are doing, there's a lot of these accounts that will just share like, hey, this app, I think there's like an app rankings one where like, oh, this app went from this ranking to this ranking. You know, I forgot the name of the account, but I follow it. You know, a lot of other people do. Like, just be in the Twitter loop, because I think Twitter is how you can honestly get to being a top 5% app marketer just off of Twitter. Like, it's the bar is low.
Just read it on Twitter. I love it. All right. Let's see this. Waleed says, I might have missed the first part. I agree that you should, with Hamza, I agree that you should not try to convert absolute rejectors, but wondering how do you get to your accurate audience and potential adopters?
I mean, think about it. Your potential adopters have, like, you can sell to them, right? Like, they have a pain point. They might have not heard of you. Like, you got to think of two things. And this is like very classic marketing speak, is like, are they problem aware, and are they solution aware? So if they're problem aware, that means they know they have a problem, but they might be solution unaware. They know they have a problem. They don't know a solution exists. There's people who know have a problem, like, they know how they have a problem and they know solutions exist. And that's a very different pitch than someone who doesn't know they have a problem and has no clue about a solution, right? So you got to think about your audience and where they fall in this quadrant, right? Because if they know they have a problem and they know solutions exist, it's competitor comparison, right? Like, you're going straight for like, I'm better than X app that you may know. If they don't know they have a problem and they don't know that there's a solution, then you got to start from ground zero. You got to tell them, hey, if you have this, you might have this problem, right? Like, I don't know, if you always wake up feeling groggy, right? Like, and tired, you might be suffering from X, Y, or Z. Or like, I think you might not match your body's like rhythm, whatever, right? Like, I'm making this on the spot.
I love it.
So for each type of audience, you can identify a different hook. And here's the thing, for one app, you can have different audiences. You can have an audience that knows they have a problem or an audience that doesn't. At the end of the day, that's still your audience. What I'm trying to get at is, don't try to be something you're not. And one of these audiences is going to probably convert the best for you, and you should probably focus on those.
Great. Love it. Jade says, what's been your biggest learning curve in terms of A/B testing?
There's no A/B tests in creative. There's like, everybody says A/B test, creative, A/B test. There is no true A/B test, because targeting is done at an ad level these days. Like, the meta algorithm does not, I mean, you can theoretically set up like a actual proper A/B test on the ads dashboard. Nobody does that. The way they'll do it is just like throw ads in competing ad sets or something. So in that sense, there is no true A/B test. And trying to like test one variable at a time, although feels productive, can be counterproductive. It's like, if you test like, hey, I want to test female versus male creator, and you just make one female ad, one male ad, there's like 50 different variables in there, like the type of creator, how attractive they are, their tone, their delivery, the setting, the outdoor, indoor. It's really hard to set up a true A/B test.
Agreed.
And that's why, like, we don't have that notion at NewForm. It's like, we can test variables and test concepts, and that leads us to a certain, like, you can A/B test like statics. Like, statics are much easier to A/B test, but even then, because creative is done at the targeting, like targeting is done at the creative level, it's not a true A/B test, because you're testing different audiences. And what we think about, what we say is, content is the targeting. So like, if I say this app, you know, does X, Y, or Z, and then another ad, I say it does something different, like a different positioning, it'll just target different audiences, and it's apples to oranges. It doesn't work. What I would encourage, like, what you're really trying to get at, instead of calling it an A/B test, you're trying to validate if there's content market fit. That's what you got to think about. Is there, like, you have this piece of content that's selling something. Can it find an audience on Meta? Because that's what Meta's trying to do, or TikTok, or whatever, all these platforms. They're trying to match a piece of content or a copy or whatever with an audience. And that match can be really strong or it can be really weak. And that's how good an ad is. So long story short, instead of trying to A/B test everything, honestly, make more concepts, more ads, and start to find patterns. And that's ultimately what our agent does, is like, it's a pattern recognizer, it's a pattern finder, because it's really hard to isolate creative variables.
I like it. All right. Unchecked Fitness says, would you post this AIGC from the app account like a repost, or build a persona and post from there? We're getting
build a persona. Build a persona all the way through. I mean, you can start having a main app account, but I would, like, the reality is it's like survivor bias. Like, the people who have a main app account probably are already doing well. So you're seeing like, oh, you know, a lot of people use a main ad account, profile to post everything, but those are already the people that like figured out how to do multiple pages and like consolidated. So I would say new profile, new persona all the way through.
So it's almost like a new person, like you would create a person versus
an avatar. And that's what I've seen work well. That's what all the affiliates do. You know, it's like, because I think you want to build a following and you want to build a repeatable content style. And it's critical that your feed looks bingeable. And this is what I mean by that is like, think about it. You're not going to binge watch stuff if it all looks different. You're confused. It's like, what even is this?
Right.
But if you get into a format, like, and it always starts with the same thing, it's almost like soothing to just scroll that page and it's the same person, similar hook, similar format. And that's how you ultimately get, I think, you build engagement and a following.
I like it. That's a great answer. Love it. All right. Okay. I'm trying to, I'll make some decisions on what are good questions and what are not. All right. Jade says, do you have different formulas for different target audiences? Those 3 formulas, maybe, as I work well. I don't know if that's what Jade's talking about, but you go ahead.
Yeah. I think on the quadrants, right? Like, I mean, it's just go back to kind of basic marketing principles. If someone doesn't know that they have the problem, then your hook should be about convincing them in a subtle way that they have this problem. And oftentimes you probably shouldn't say you in that hook. You should probably say I. People learn from other people and they relate. Like, you should we talked about authentic ads should also be relatable. And we've noticed using the first person in an ad actually does a lot better with that type of audience. And the second, like using I instead of you. So instead of like, if you have X, then Y, it's like, I struggled with X because of Y. And you're like, oh wait, I struggle because of X too. Is it because of Y? Because is that the problem? And they keep watching the video. You're not selling. You're just taking them on a user journey, right? And that's how you think about a problem unaware audience. Now, obviously, solution aware, solution unaware. If they're solution unaware, it doesn't matter who the competitors are, right? You just gotta tell them, hey, I'm solving your problem. If they are solution aware, you got to make your product different. And you don't necessarily need to mention the name of your competitor. I mean, like, that can work in a static ad. Like a very popular concept would be like, hey, our app, competitor app, and like checkboxes, right? Like a competitor comparison. That can work. You can be more explicit with it. But something that's more subtle could be just like, hey, like you can just throw a simple diss. It's like, let's say you have a weight loss app, right? And you want to, basically tell people like, hey, I'm better than the rest. You'd be like, I use so many weight loss apps and they all were like super expensive and buggy. I don't know, something like that. Like, how do you not name drop, but get to the point of like why we're better? Because people know there's apps there to help them lose weight. Like, it's not an unknown thing. So how do you make sure that like, I'm not just another weight loss app? So
love it.
Like, and sometimes honestly, like the marketing psychology, I think does well. And that's where you start. we should always experiment. That's what I always say. It's like, these are frameworks. Like what we do, like we have workshops with our creators and our account managers where we go over frameworks for good versus bad ads. And it's not, there's no perfect ad. And it's because ads are personalized these days, and every good ad looks different to a different person.
I like it. All right, let's go quickly on these. Marco says, what's a good budget per month to get a great amount of downloads, especially in the beginning? You have an opinion on that?
I mean, depends on your CPI, right? Like if you're running $10, you may need 10,000 to get 1,000. Like, I think that question is like circular, right? What I would do is look at like, I mean, listen, there's like the highest CPI, you shouldn't be getting anything more than a $10 CPI, or else maybe you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Like even a fintech app should probably be in that $10 range or less, right? So it depends on how competitive your industry is. I would say that's like the one end of the spectrum. Another end of the spectrum is like very simple utility app, like a wallpaper, like that just comes naturally to mind, or something that appeals to like younger folks, like people in high school. Like those are very cheap installs. What you're trying to go for, I would say, is at least like 30 installs a day, right? Like I wouldn't recommend any lower, because you got to think about like, it's not, I mean, yeah, you can theoretically get lower and still have the platform work, but you're then struggling to get conversion data down the funnel, and you can't really understand how people are converting, how different ads are converting. So it's recommend 30 installs a day. So it's anywhere between, I mean, at the very low end, you're probably running $1,000 a month. Like I think anything less, you probably shouldn't go for paid at all. What we usually recommend is like at closer to 10, right? So it's like around 10 a month. And I think that gives you that's a great budget to test a lot of stuff. And, you know, if you're a fintech, maybe it's 15 or 20, right? But if you're a fintech app, you probably already have investors and stuff, and that, you know, you wouldn't flinch at that.
I like it. All right, all right, whatever. Could AIGC be connected to the platform's algorithm, like knowing what targets, interests, etc.?
Meta's probably already working on this. I mean, yeah, like, I mean, not now, but I mean, this is what Advantage Plus is, right? Like the whole idea is like you upload creatives and they try to match them with the right audience. I mean, they already do that even on the manual campaigns, right? So a lot of people think that's where the industry is heading. Actually, don't think it's going to get there anytime soon. If you look about like any of the AI suites from Meta to TikToks, like, and the, you know, kind of automated creative optimization stuff that they do, it's good at simple stuff. It's not great at like generating yet, right? So we'll see. I mean, you know, AI is progressing really fast. So maybe in a few years, I'm very wrong, and people look back at this and are like, oh, like it's a very stupid idea. But yeah, not anytime soon, in my opinion.
I love it. Well, Hamza, I'm going to take over. I just want to say, man, congrats on everything you've done. Met you at Faves at MAU 2 years ago, bro, like right before MAU Vegas, and congratulations on the success. Do want to plug your platforms. This was an awesome. We got a lot of questions, and I know this was a great interview. It is NewForm.ai if you want to learn about the AI agent that's going to really analyze and help you become a better marketer. And then NewForm.com if you want to work on the service side. But anything else that you want to plug before, if the audience wants to connect with you in any other way?
Totally. I'm on LinkedIn. I post a lot of helpful stuff there. So marketing, agents in marketing, NewForm AI, like the agent stuff. Honestly, if you're just getting started, probably won't help you. I mean, the whole idea is like you need a lot of data for it to work off of. So if you're just getting started, or like you're looking into kind of ramping up your paid operations, probably go to NewForm.com. If you're if you're an agency or an advertiser running quite a bit of spend that you're looking to optimize, probably go to NewForm.ai. But either way, you know, connect with me. There's demo calls that you can book, and yeah, like find me on LinkedIn. Hamza Alsamraee, this is my name.
How much should we be spending for NewForm.ai?
I mean, I guess you have the pricing. How
much like budget for like our budget? Like
anything less than
5.
Honestly,
10?
Anything less than like $100K a month, like it probably doesn't make sense for you. Like, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because the idea is like, unless you're testing a whole lot of creatives, you're feeding a whole lot of data, the human would probably just be better at doing the thing. Like it's good at sifting through a lot of data. So like for us, we're actually, I mean, our primary customers are actually agencies running like billions of spend. Like, and that's what, you know, that's what they're really interested in.
I love it. See? He follows his advice. He's being authentic. Hey, if you're not spending over 100, don't come. Doesn't matter what will be at. Yeah. So it is newform.com. Hamza's LinkedIn is linked up in your favorite podcast if you're listening to this, and your favorite YouTube channel as well. I'm going to stay on, finish the app audits. Hamza, feel free to stay on if you need to, but I want to make sure I respect your time. We booked an hour. You gave me everything you had. Thank you so much. So
appreciate it, Steve. All right,
man. I'm going to catch you later. I'll hit you up. All right. See you, man. All right. Sanchi, that was pretty good, right? Yeah, he's shaking his head. All right. So if you got any questions for me, leave a comment and I will go through the rest. And for those who are not wondering, I think there was a question here about the app audit. Sanchi, I don't know where that question was. But anyways, if you need an app audit right here on Check Fitness, thank you, bro. If you want to go an app audit for you in a future live stream, just go to appmasters.com/audit, appmasters.com/audit. All right, Sanchi. Now, because Hamza's not here, if you got a dad joke, get ready. We gonna battle. All right, I know you guys are a bit delayed, so I'm going to wait for the dad joke, and I'll just go through the first app. Ben's app right here is up. I'm going to go through here. Ben's got an upfront paid app, so really cool. Watch to 5K. He wants help with ASO, keywords, product pages, and screenshots. All right, so here's what I'm going to talk about. I don't know why it's watch. Maybe it's like you do everything on the Apple Watch. Okay, learn to run 5K with just your Apple Watch. Awesome. So it might be a watch app. Now, what I would say, Ben, is overall, your ASO looks good. Now, ASO for a paid app up front is a little bit harder. So what we have seen, this was a few years ago when Apple search ads, but when Apple search ads first came out, running Apple search ads for paid apps was actually working really well. We had one client where we were doing that. I heard from other people in our community. So ASO wise for a paid app, it's going to be a little bit trickier. Like there's only so many suggestions I can give you because you already have it, like the 5K and couch to 5K stuff. But because you already have it in your title, there's not much you can do because you're going to be restricted by just download velocity, right? So one other thing you can try, and depending on where people are signing up, and I'm not familiar with Apple Watch as much as I am just like the iPhone, but if people can pay and subscribe within your Apple Watch, think about moving to a free download, but a hard paywall. Okay. So you're a paid app right now, but think about going to a free download, but hard paywall. And we've seen that work pretty well for paid apps. So you could technically just even charge $10 a year by letting people download for free and then no X on the paywall because it's hard, right? That's what a hard paywall means. And that's where I think your leverage from ASO and all that stuff is going to really come into play. But if you don't want to do that, think about Apple search ads, because you can tell Apple search ads, hey, you can even start with basic, be like, hey, I only want a $2 install, right? And Apple will try to get you a $2 install. So you're just printing money at that point. Cool. All right, we do have a joke. All right. Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. The Zarzik will be the dad joke if Zarzik wins. All right, Zarzik, so give me your answer, all right? In here. So I think that was it. I mean, in terms of screenshots, here's what I would do. What we've seen success into and what we're going to be testing out, humans, right? Real people in your screenshots instead of illustrations should work better. And so you almost want somebody that is your core demographic, and you want images around that too, right? And so I think you want to put a real human instead of this avatar right here that has run a 5K race, so to speak, right? And so maybe just looking down at their Apple Watch, finishing a race, something that would be useful and attract the eye. We're all attracted to more humans, not illustrations. Okay. So that's what I would do from a screenshot perspective. But overall, the app looks really good. And hopefully that works out from a monetization perspective. Keep me posted as well. Okay. Let's get into round one. Sweet. All right, here we go. All right, it's on you. Oops. See, I just pulled that one because I wanted to see that. All right, we're going with Z. All right, Z Zarzik says, why shouldn't you wear glasses when you play football? Why shouldn't you wear glasses when you play football, Sanchu? Because it's a contact sport. There you go. All right. That's Z's joke. My joke is, Sanchu, I swallowed a bunch of synonyms today. I've swallowed a bunch of synonyms today. I got the sorest throat I've ever had. There you go. A little grammar humor there. So put S if you thought my joke was funnier, or put Z if you thought Z's joke was funnier. And if Z wins, he gets a free Indie App Santa promotion. For those aren't familiar with Indie App Santa, it is a company that we have under the App Masters umbrella, or not under the umbrella, but anyways, it's a company that I own personally. We bought this, and it is like a Groupon for apps. If you hear me talk about app advice, Indie App Santa, they're one the same. But check it out, indieappsanta.com. All right. Sanchu's gonna, and for those who are voting, just by voting, you will be selected to be in a random draw. And Sanchu, let's include Z too, in case he loses. All right. Just in case, because he did have the joke. Oh my God, how dare you guys? How dare you guys? Z voting for him. Hey, if he's gonna vote for himself, I'm voting for myself. Come on, give me this. Yes. Take that, Z. All right, let's even that out a little bit. All right, let's get into the next app. Whoops, I keep bringing you guys closer. Let's get into this app, and this is, whose app is this? Oh, it's another Ben. Is this the same Ben? We got two Bens here. All right, Ben's app is this: usability, content differentiators, and your general feedback based on your years of experience. All right, here's Ben's app. It looks like a ready refresh, AI life coach, tracker streak. Ben, from my perspective, I've no, like I said, right? Like Hamza said it best. Do I know what problem are you truly trying to solve? Right. And I think you know the problem already exists. So now you have to be solution oriented, meaning users have a problem that you're trying to solve. What is it? Why is your solution better? So I do like this, the AI coach, but I have no idea what kind of coaching you're doing for me. So if it's just goals, then talk about goals, right? Because you kind of lead with this goal tracker and daily planner with AI coaches. So if it is about crushing your goals, right? Drinking more water, talk about that in your screenshots, because you're trying to be everyone. You're trying to be everything to everyone. And I don't know who this is ultimately for. And even go into goals like, hey, what are some of the most popular goals? You have 101 ratings, right? So you should have some pretty decent users. Listen to what they're saying. If this is all about habit tracking, great, right? Think about how you can be more specific, because what I found is a lot of times, especially if you don't have a big budget, it's way better to be something for someone, as long as that someone is going to pay you, right? And so instead of building a meditation app, I might build an anxiety relief app, because I know that person has a real problem and is looking for a solution. So if I can rank pretty well for that keyword, show them why my solution works, then I'm going to be able to convert them pretty easily than somebody who is just looking for meditation. So in your case, people are looking for habit trackers, but what kind of habits do you help them kind of beat or develop, right? Whether it's extra, and the habits are all the same: exercise more, drink more water, sleep more, meditate more, whatever it is. Think about that too. So that's my suggestion to you. And then let's get into the app and see what the app is all about too. Ready. All right, let me go back to this. Sanchu is already ready. I love it. Let's get into Ben's app. Give him some feedback. All right. Ben, you had such great visuals on your screenshots, and I'm getting a plain white, black and white. I don't know, just to give you some sense. I'm just going to talk out loud, all right? Give you that feedback. But I love the visuals. Like, as a comparison, what happened to these visuals? And we suddenly got some plain visuals in here. Maybe you're just going through a refresh. All right. Discover the power of positive habits. Love. Okay. Habit building. Regularly working on it. Discover your path. How easy it for you being. I start fast, fail fast. I can start right away, pretty much. What challenges do you have? Maybe maintaining consistency. So use this when people are asking these questions, when you're asking it, use this as data. All right. What I would say is, what challenges you the most? Pay attention to the answers and what answers lead to higher trial activations, and use that data to then put it in your screenshots in your marketing. So if it's lack motivation, great. That's going to get you the highest. It's like, no problem. We'll keep you motivated in your screenshots. Maintaining consistency, no problem. We gamify it so that you stay consistent, right? So you can use that to your advantage. You're not just asking it to increase your conversions. There you go. Here's another one. Competing with friends for me. I love to start small. All right, cool. 10,000 users. I like it. Next onboarding. Now, this is kind of a weird screen because I have no idea. It makes me feel like I have more work to do. It says personalization completed. Next onboarding. I don't know what that means. All right. If you don't need all these details, I might skip this because this is a habit tracker. Like, this is not a fitness app. Why do you need all this information here? So anyways, what we've seen is, if you're getting drop off here, really think about moving your paywall in front of this. Okay, I don't mind this. Hey, Steve, can you hear me? Okay. All right, now here, nobody wants to subscribe. Here's Ben. This is the big problem. Okay. Nobody wants to subscribe. I didn't know there was a free trial. So put continue and make sure you put free trial. My eye is here. You have it. There's a reason why my eye is here. You have save 33%. I'm looking here. I'm looking for any indication of a free trial. You don't have it anywhere, right? So really highlight the fact that it's free trial and change this from subscribe. We changed one client's subscribe on the web to get started. We saw a 30% increase in conversions. Nobody wants to subscribe. People are willing to get started, crush your goals, or just continue. That would work better. I would also try to test, like Hamza said, do your research, but I also try to test a higher price point. We're doing that for one of our apps. It's a tracker app, that's all I will say. But we started at 20. We're now testing 30. Early results show that 30 actually has a higher trial activation rate. All right. So if all the numbers stay still, we're not only making more money per customer, but we're actually converting more customers too. Because it's a habit tracker, you're telling me I'm going to change my life. I should be more than willing to pay you $30 a year. All right. So think about all that in here. And then if you're going to give a discount on this, remove the trial, right? This paywall is better. If you're going to give a discount, remove the trial, because that trial to paid is not going to be good anyways. And it's so cheap right now that I don't mind it, but this is good. The other thing you might think about doing, it has helped and not helped, but lead to that first goal, like get them straight into it. Instead of just dropping me here and hoping that I get to it, start with, hey, ready to launch your first goal? Good. Well, how do you want to create? You want to create your own or create with AI? Get them using your app right away, right? So get them to try to do something within the app within the first 5 or 10 minutes. Should help your retention, should help your ASO, should help your conversions, should help everything. All right. Let me talk to my friend Sanchu for that dad joke round. Sanchu, you want to come on? And let me add you to the stage. All right, my friend. All right. Now let's see. Have I trained Sanchu enough to be more dramatic? Sanchu, okay? Let me see who is the winner of the dad joke. It's very important to me, Sanchu. You have to into it. Make me anticipate. All right, come on. Let's see it.
But Steve, I think it will be sad for you because you lost this round.
What was the score? Sanchu, always score first.
It's 9-6.
9-6. All right, Z. So congratulations, my friend. You get a free Indie App Santa promo. Just email me. I'll include you with the team. They're going to set you up. So Zarzik It is Z for the win. All right. Z for the win.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right. You get a free Indie App Santa promo. And then we're going to give one. So hopefully, Zarzik, we won't include you in this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I'm
take
not
them out. Okay, cool.
including.
All right. Give that a spin. We should remove Marco too. Anyways, go ahead. In that bad boy. I want to give it to new people.
Yeah.
Lori? Oh, that's a new person. Pabble XLB. There you go. You voted for the wrong person too. I hate giving it to the traders. It's on you. I hate giving free stuff away to traders. All right. Well, you guys earned that one in there. And Pabble XZab, just email me, steve@appmasters.co or .com, doesn't matter. And I will include you to the team and we'll set you up for the free Indie App Santa promo as well. All right. Yay. Thanks to all the voters. And Marco's laughing as well. Got you. Unchecked Fitness says we have a large issue converting from download to paid. Think about the price. If you're getting good trial activation rates, but low trial to paid, could be a couple of factors. One, it's your features. So hopefully you built a great product. Two, it could be your price. So play around with that. And what we had the same problem too, Unchecked Fitness, for one of our AI apps. It's a video that we already created and you're going to be posting, but changing the paywalls and getting people to subscribe to more of a weekly. Now you're a fitness app, so probably monthly, yearly, and 3 months. That's how I would do it. But I don't know what your app looks like. So, feel free to fill out that form. All right. Sancho, I think that's it, right? Are you seeing anything else that I need to go through? Thank you for everybody else who had a dad joke. Oh, here, I got this one. Prepsley is there. Thank you, Prepsley. All right. Ludovico. Hey, Steve, do you have any advice for party game, drinking games such as Piccola? Yeah, I mean, those are hard, right? I actually talked to, somebody who had a party game and they were just like doing a few $1,000s, like not that much in revenues when I first met with them at coffee with them. They came all the way out to my neck of the woods. And I recently met them last September at the Revenue Cat event, and they were doing $100,000 plus in the party game space. So what I would tell you is think about organic social media. You probably need to leverage that. Some of the keywords are very, very competitive. We worked with a few different party games, and so it's hard to beat the ones that have been there for a long time. But you don't have to worry about ASO as much. You just need to figure out the content play, right? Content market fit. There you go. That's all you got to figure out too. And that's how they've been able to succeed with just organic social media as well. All right. I think that's it, Sanchu. Cool. Who do we have coming up next week? H?
Next week, we have Aline Charania.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, we're going to talk all about how do you build. So for those who are just getting new to the game and you don't have an app idea, or you have an app idea and you're trying to get the app published, we're going to talk about how do you create revenue generating apps using AI and low code software. How do you actually make some money off of that too? So we're going to talk about the building part and I'll help you with the marketing part as well. Join us live every Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Sanchi, thank you so much for coming on and helping me mandate everything. Look, he's the one behind the scenes making the magic happen for App Masters. So Sanchi, thank you so much for being here.
All good, Steve.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great weekend. Hamza, that was freaking amazing. I hope you guys took a lot of notes.